Welcome back, everybody, to the What Worked For Me podcast. Today we have Michon, who's been able to successfully lose 141 pounds, which is amazing. She has a great story that she's documented very well on social media. If you want, all of her links will be in the description of this video, and I really suggest you go and listen to her story. It's pretty amazing. It covers way more than just weight loss, and we're going to talk today about the weight loss part. Michon, we had a quick conversation before this, and I know you got up to about 305 pounds at your biggest, but every story has a beginning. So let's kind of scoot back before that. Did you start out bigger or did you gain weight later in your life? How has your weight been? How did you get up to 305 pounds?
Well, I really feel like as a child, I was more on the heavy set side. I got teased in school from a young age, starting in probably third grade. I had taken a little activity book to school that I got for Easter, and it was called my like big chunk activity book. And my name's Michon, so they put the two together, McChunk. And so the teasing, I think that led to, low self-esteem and whatever. So I had an eating problem back then. And then when I got up and I had two kids, and so that always puts on the weight. But then when I got to my highest, my husband was in a wheelchair for muscular dystrophy. And I think just the stresses of me working full time as a branch manager and then taking care of him. And then I had a toddler. I just let myself go, and I was working and doing all these things. And I think it was just, I lost myself in all of that. And I wasn't taking care of myself properly. I wasn't putting in exercise. I wasn't eating properly. Oh, let's just grab something to eat because that was easier because it was just too much. I think it was just way too much for me to take care of. And I had never ever been that weight, maybe 270 ish. But I think just taking care of all of that, it was just too much. And I just let myself go. And that was like my breaking point. 305, and I'm only 5'0". So that was, I felt as wide as I was tall, basically.
Yeah, that's really hard. So it sounds like you maybe had some bigger genetics. I'm sorry you had the bullying and stuff when you're young. That's always really hard, I think, to go through for anybody. And then just lifestyle, and you got really stressed and busy and were taking care of everybody and just didn't have time for yourself. So you said you hit this breaking point. What was the moment where you realized, like, okay, I have to make a change and I got to start taking care of myself?
Well, I just knew, like, I mean, I couldn't do it. Like I felt like I waddled, like I just wasn't I couldn't do it. I went to a branch manager meeting in Texas, and one of the other branch managers was like, "Hey, our insurance covers weight loss surgery." And so I was like, "What? What is that?" I didn't even know what that was. Like honestly, I didn't even know what that was. And so after like looking into it, I got back, and within 2.5 months I was having weight loss surgery. Like my insurance covered it 90%. And I was like, I've got to do this. Like to me, it was almost like life and death. Like I have got to take care of this. I have a baby that needs me. I've got a husband I'm taking care of, and trying to take care of another person that size, when you're that size, it's almost impossible, especially when he can't do things on his own. I knew I needed to make a change. And so I checked into all of this, and like I said, 2.5 months in, and I was having weight loss surgery. So I had to go on a strict diet for 2 weeks before so that my liver would shrink. It was a like liquid only diet. And so I did that and lost 10 pounds,
Okay.
15 pounds, because my surgery, the day I went in for surgery, I was 290. So yeah, I lost 15 pounds in that 2 weeks. And that was a hard thing to go through, is to only be able to have liquids. I might have messed up a couple times because weight loss is, it's been like that pretty much my
Yeah.
whole life. So that's really, I knew that I need to make changes to take care of my family and to take care of myself, because I wasn't taking care of myself.
So you said you ended up choosing to do weight loss surgery. How was the recovery after the surgery?
Honestly, like I think that it was really scary because this was my very first ever surgery. And so to me, like I had been on some weight loss surgery groups, and I was like scared because people have not made it through that surgery. So it was like something that I was super scared about, but I was like, I got to do this. Like I knew that it was hard to like, have the eating and all that. And so I did it. And I really think that I came out just with no problems. it was hard. Like, you can't eat that much, like, after
Right.
that happened. So that is the main thing, is it just helps you with, like, not being able to eat as much. But as far as like having anything go wrong, like, I didn't have anything go wrong. Like, I felt like really blessed that I didn't have any problems outside of the surgery.
That's great. So I know the first couple weeks, it's like a liquid only diet usually. Did you have to do that?
Yeah, and then I know they talked about this too. Like, I did probably do a lot of liquids, but I don't know if any of you know about this, but before you have surgery, you have to go through a psychological evaluation. They talk to you about transfer addiction. I already had a problem with alcoholism, but having the surgery definitely gave me transfer addiction from food to alcohol. And so that was one thing. I was drinking a month after surgery, and that's like a no,
Yeah,
but it happened. Like, this is real life stuff, that this really happened to me. And so I think that was a lot. You just don't think it's going to happen to you, you know what I mean? I was like, no, that's not going to happen, but it did happen. And so a month into after recovery, I was drinking alcohol like way more. And then because your stomach's so small and you have that taken off, like 85% of your stomach removed, you feel the effects way faster. And it became a problem. Like, it was just, you feel it and then it's gone, and then you drink and then it was more. Like, it just became so much too, that I had to get through that as well. So it was not just the weight loss. Now I'm dealing with another problem aside from the weight loss, you know what I mean? So
yeah. And I
it
think
was hard.
that's hard because if you just go from one vice to another, then you're just out of the frying pan and into the fire type situation. So
Yeah, and that's what it was.
did you start losing weight or did you plateau pretty quick because you were drinking alcohol? How was the effect on your
No,
weight after the surgery?
that's what was so crazy. Like, I was drinking quite a bit, like hard liquor too. It wasn't
Yeah.
just like the little stuff. And so it was like, I wasn't even working out that much. Like, I was basically just not eating that much. And then after a while, then I started working out, and it kind of leveled off a little bit, but I still had those issues with the transfer addiction, and it just got worse. Like, and then after my husband passed away, it was just even worse. But I probably would say in the first 8 months, I lost 100 pounds of that 305 pounds.
Holy
So that
cow.
was exciting. And then that's when it's like, hey, you got to start working out. You got to start, eating better, because I was eating here and there, but I wasn't I wasn't really following as much of the plan that I should have been, because I was drinking and I was just not on. I wasn't there, like, mentally. I don't feel like I was there, because I was just not. I was just surviving at that
Yeah.
time.
Well, I'm sure it sounds like you were already in a high stress situation and the loss of a spouse. I'm sorry, that's terrible.
Thank you.
And so, I've seen on your social media that you're celebrating several years now of being sober, 3-ish years. How long you been sober now?
Since January 2nd of 22, so I have, it's probably 1,185 days roughly in there somewhere.
That's awesome. Congratulations. That's so good.
Yeah, thank you. I feel like a way different person, and it's just been, I think getting over that was the hardest. Like, the weight loss, yes, that's hard, but then having to deal with that aside from the weight loss just makes things, complicates it even more. Because I mean, alcohol makes you heavier.
Right.
It makes you depressed. I mean, it does so many different things. And if you're not taking care of your body, if you're not taking care of your health, if you're not taking your vitamins, if you're not eating properly, if you're not working out daily, you're not going to have success. Like, you have to stay with the plan of some type. And I mean, we're coming up on 9 years that I've had to navigate this weight loss thing. So it's an everyday, like, struggle still. I mean, I'm up 20 something pounds from where I was before, and you got to keep going no matter what.
Yeah. And so was you brought up kind of how you were feeling, right? Now you feel really good, but you said back then you probably weren't feeling very good. Was that the first thing that made you realize, like, okay, maybe I need to stop alcohol? As if you had lost 100 pounds, but you still didn't feel really good? How did you get to the point where you realized, like, okay, this is a problem, and to better my health, I got to get rid of this?
Well, I think after my husband passed away, that's when I went into my deepest addiction with alcohol. And I was still like, I had lost some more weight after that. And then I checked myself into 2 outpatient rehabs. Like, I didn't know how to do it. Like, I was like, I've got to do this. I didn't want to have a problem with my weight again, because that was the whole purpose of having the weight loss surgery, was to get control of that. And like with the alcohol, I mean, that's, you're eating crappy food, you're just not taking care of yourself. And
Right.
so I knew if I didn't get control of it, like I'm going to be back in the same situation. And so I just started working out and eating better, and I just feel like I knew I had to make those changes, and that's why I checked myself into those. And it's like, I have to make a change. Like, my child already doesn't have a dad, so if something happens to me, he has nobody. Like, what, I mean, who, that was my why, is like, I got to do this for my kids, not just for myself. Like, it was for me too, but I think that then you bring your kids into it, and it's like, I didn't really picture it. Like, it all goes hand in hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
I
think you
think that was
children
my
have that
turning point.
amazing way to shift our perspective of like, oh, I have to do this now. Like I'm out of time. So I'm sure there was a lot of personal growth that came with beating alcohol addiction, especially one that you had kind of described as pretty severe. Did did any of the things that you learned from overcoming alcohol help with your relationship with food?
I just think like I have severe ADHD too, and some other depressive complex PTSD, and I think really it comes down to loving who you are, and having giving yourself grace, and really looking in the mirror and saying, "Hey, you're okay." Because if it all goes hand in hand. Like, if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not taking care of yourself, whether it's with your food, with your exercise, with your substances. If you're not taking care of yourself, you're not taking care of yourself. So I feel like all of these things that I've learned go in with everything. Like, it's getting up, and it's making a schedule, and it's like, you have to put things in place so that you can continue on this journey of success. And if you don't, you're just going to stay mediocre. You're just going to stay the same. There's no way you can grow. How do you grow if you don't get outside of your comfort zone? There's no way that you can do that without reaching out, getting outside of your comfort zone. And I think just like telling my story has really helped with all of it. With weight loss, people are like, I have shared like working out videos. I mean, I just feel like all of it goes hand in hand, because it's really finding a balance of what you do in your personal life. Not every diet is going to work for the same person. You have to find what works for you, and I think that's where a lot of people go wrong is, oh, this supplement's going to help. Oh, this is going to help. Oh, this diet's going to help. Well, guess what? They'll all help for a certain amount of time, but then what happens when you go off of them? The same thing. You're going to gain the weight back. That's why it's been so important for me to stick to the same thing, because I know if I don't have good eating habits and I don't exercise, do I exercise every single day? No, but I find what works for me. But I'm just saying, if you don't stick to some type of a schedule, you're going to just gain the weight back. That's why it's important to keep some consistency in your life that works for you. So if it's 30 minutes a day, even if you can't do it every day, 3 times a week. Like, I feel like you have to have consistency in there, or you're never gonna get to where you need to go.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think consistency is always key, and I think we'll definitely talk about that when we dive into your exercise and this type of things. You said something right at the beginning when you started talking, where you said it really came down to like showing yourself some grace, which I think is hard for a lot of people. It's how are you actually able to do that? I think that's one of those things that people get caught on, where we all say, okay, like we need to be nice to ourselves, we need to give ourselves room to grow, but then we don't actually do that. So how did you learn how to do that in an effective way that facilitated your growth?
I just think, like, this sounds stupid, but just looking in the mirror and really saying, like, I love you, you're a good person, like, you're doing this, like, you have to be proud of your success. Like, if you just go through life and you're just always constantly focused on the negative, and like, you're not going to grow. You have to forgive yourself for your past mistakes. But the whole thing in life is, we're here to learn. And so if you're not learning from your past and using that as stepping stones to get to your future, you're not growing. So I just think that, like, I know that sounds dumb, but really looking at yourself and being proud of who you are, and really loving the person looking back in the mirror. I think that's the biggest thing. That is really just That's growth. Just like being able to say, hey, I love you. You are doing a great job, regardless of what anyone else thinks, because people are going to have their opinions. And that's another thing, not allowing people's opinions to affect you as a person, because people can be very unkind, especially this day. So it's giving yourself grace to say, you know what, I have been through some hard things, and that's okay because I know where I'm going and I know what I'm doing, and I know if I continue this route and continue to be uplifting and positive and just exploring things that are going to elevate me to the next level, that's how you get there. Giving yourself grace. If you don't forgive yourself, how are you going to go on? Like, if you can't even love yourself, I mean, that opens up a whole nother door. When we love ourselves, that lets everyone else love us, you know?
Right.
So it is really giving yourself grace so that you can continue on to a positive, healthy lifestyle.
I really like that. You said something else too that I would love to dive into. You brought up other people, and
Yeah.
anytime anytime we make large changes in our life, whether it's our weight or our actions, sometimes that can bring us closer or further away from other people. You're nodding, so I think that's a something you probably experienced. How did you navigate the cultural sides of this shift of becoming a new person? Did you get a lot of pushback from friends and family? Was it mostly supportive? How did you navigate those type of things?
I have had supportive people in my life. I just think with the whole sobriety thing, I just had expectations that people were just going to be more like, "Oh, she's doing this, like we're going to be their supporter." I don't feel like I've had that much support from like the people closest to me as I thought I would have. Not saying they didn't support me, I just thought it would have been a greater support system. So I found that through my social media accounts, that's what I really feel has helped me a lot. And just you just get opinions of other people like, oh, just because she had weight loss surgery. Well, you know what? That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which route you take that best serves you. That is for every individual person to make, and nobody should be judging another person on what route they take. People have to do what works for them, and we shouldn't care the opinions of others because that does nothing but bring us down. And I finally had to learn that like it doesn't matter what Joe says or Cindy says or whoever else says what. I know that what I'm doing is working and I'm going to continue doing that regardless of what anyone says. And I think that's getting people out of our minds to not, you have to get those thoughts out of the back of your head because we all know how our mind talks to us.
Right.
Like, you have to just stand firm in what you're doing. And if it's working, keep doing it. If it's not working, look at other options that can help you succeed because it does. Sometimes it's trial and error, especially with weight loss, and what worked 3 years ago maybe doesn't work this year. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
it's constantly, we're all changing and evolving. So yeah, you have to definitely look at everything that you are bringing in your life, and you have to make sure it's working for your lifestyle, working for your time, like consistency, time management. It all has to come together so that you can continue, because we're going on 9 years and it's like, I'm not going back to that 305-pound girl. I refuse to. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the negative talk, you can't listen to it. It's just chatter. So
Don't
let's
read the
just
comments,
let's
right? I think is how some people put
yeah,
it.
I just delete them. If people are negative, I just delete them. I don't put up with negative comments on my feed at all.
Yeah. So you brought up something that I think is extremely important thing about. You said what worked last year might not work this year. And when you start losing large amounts of weight, you always hit plateaus and you have to figure out ways to change stuff. Did you experience that as you were losing weight?
I'm going through it right now, honestly. Like
Yeah.
last year I got down to 164. That was my very, very lowest. So that was 141 total pounds. And we go through life, guys. So, like, my father in law died. I fell down the steps and broke my face up. So that brings that depression in. And, like, you have to. You have to just pick yourself up and keep going, because if you don't, who's going to? You have to do it. You are the only one that can choose to get up off the couch and go work out. You're the only one that can decide what goes inside your mouth, whether it's eating or drinking. You are in total control of what you do. And life does change. So you have to really look and see, okay, this isn't working anymore. Like, I've got to change my diet, or I've got to, like, right now I just feel stuck. But you got other life things that come in like menopause and other life changing things. So you have to figure it out. Go to your gynecologist. Go here. Go and see what is going to work better for you. Try something new. It's all about changing and evolving that's going to fit your circumstances because every single person is different.
Yeah. You said that you have to be the one to pick yourself up off the couch, right? In
Yep.
those moments wherein, you've kind of been in like the depths of depression or you just feel like you got nothing left, how are you able to do that?
It's hard. Some days are harder than others, but I mean, I'm working on books right now. Just throw in some earbuds and turn on I'm working on the Let Them theory by Mel Robbins. That's a
She's
good one.
great.
Let them. Like you have to find things that are going to elevate you to learn and to grow to your next highest version of yourself because we're all evolving. We're all changing as life changes. So you have to do things that are going to do that. So if it's a podcast, if it's I personally like music. Like if I turn on the music, I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So mine's basically music. You just have to find things that are gonna motivate you to get up and going. Because some days I could sit here and be like, I can't do this today, and I have done that. I can't do this today. But I think a lot of it too is positive self-talk. When you're constantly talking positive to yourself and okay, this is working. Like good job on this. Like I feel like I'm constantly like you're doing a good job. Like look at how far you've come. Like building yourself up because if people aren't doing it, who else is going to do it? You got to do it. Build yourself
right.
up. Love yourself. So I think that's a lot of it is just find things that you love that's going to help get you up and out because motivation doesn't work. Determination works. And I found that in my journey is in order to keep on this path for 9 years, I've had to stay determined. I've had to really dig deep and find that determination to keep going because motivation runs out, but determination doesn't.
I really
So
like that. So, getting back to where we're at, you said within the first about 3 or 4 months, or it said 8 months after you lost 100 pounds, and then you lost another about 40. How long did the other 40 take you to get down?
um, I would say, let's see, I had weight loss surgery April 15th of 2016. And then I met my boyfriend in 2019. I would say in 2018, like probably my husband died in 2017. So then I think I gained 59 pounds after he passed away. Like I got down, but then I gained
Yeah.
59 pounds. So I've had to re-lose that too. And then
How
another,
did you handle that? That regain is something everyone faces when they lose weight. If you lose weight, you're going to regain it. That's going to happen to a certain degree. How
it's
did
so
you
hard.
handle it and not let that just derail you?
It's hard. Like you, and it's determination. It's like I am not going back to that 305-pound girl. Like you have to keep something in the back of your head. Your why. Like why are you even doing this in the first place? I don't want to be that girl anymore. I was depressed. I was like, so you have to just keep that continually keep that in the back of your mind. And I think just that's happened twice. Like I gained the 59 pounds and I had to re-lose that regain and then after my father-in-law passed away, I gained another 29 pounds. I did 75 hard, which is the first thing I've ever focused on so much ever because I have severe ADHD. And so I've never been so hyper focused on anything besides that. And I lost 22 pounds. But it's getting in that like, okay, what do I got to do? It's consistency. You have to be consistent. It doesn't matter what it is, even if it's 4 days a week by doing nothing, you're getting nowhere. By at least being consistent 2 to 3 days a week, over time, that's going to build up and that's going to help you get to where you need to be. Little small habits are going to become atomic. You know what I mean? So you
Yeah,
really have to focus on those little habits that you have going for yourself. On days that you're feeling good, increase it. Go for a 3 mile walk instead of 2 miles. Like you just have to find ways to increase what you're doing to help you get to where you're going.
I like that. Something else that you talked about, you brought up the fact that you kind of had the transfer addiction, right? Where you went from food to alcohol and then you gave up alcohol. How were you able to replace that addiction with something that you didn't just end up going to like the next vice? Because that's kind of what happened the first time when you gave up food. How did you replace that with something healthy and what did you replace it with?
I think that I just replaced it with like working. working out, walking is very, very good for you. But I think I kind of replaced it with social media because I didn't even have TikTok or anything. And I think that that is something that I replaced it with because it was helping me like share my story, heal myself, get my story out there so that other people don't feel alone. So in a sense, I feel like I was addicted to that for a while. And maybe even now, like I still feel like that's my thing. Like that's
Yeah,
I'm not doing this, but you always replace it with something, right?
right.
You I feel like you're gonna replace this with that and hopefully it's a positive than a negative. And I feel like what I'm doing on TikTok and my platform is a positive thing, but I just feel like it just helped me because now I'm working out, I'm doing this, and I'm sharing it with others. And now they're saying, hey, you helped me lose 54 pounds. You helped me by putting out your videos. And that's not an easy thing to do is put yourself out there in front of
Yeah,
the
no, it's
world.
hard. It's
You know
hard.
what I mean? But just them, like me putting that out there and then responding is helping me to continue my journey. So in a sense, I just feel like it's just been a positive like habit that I've created rather than drinking. Like it's just been something that, and it's like a hobby because I like doing photos. I like, so it's been kind of a like healthy habit for me
Yeah.
rather than drinking.
So you could replace with social media. And it sounds like really to a certain degree, you replace it with just a like a stronger social network,
Yes.
and ways that way. You brought up exercise a couple times, so I think we should dive into exercise. Have you been someone who you liked exercising your entire life? Did you have to kind of learn this? No. So let's walk through. Did you start exercising immediately when you got the surgery, or did it take a little bit to get into it?
It took a while because I've never been one that's like, "Oh, let's go to the gym." The only time that I ever really went to the gym, I was on the swim team like in high school for a little while. I played softball in high school, but like as far as like working out, I've never been one of those like, "Oh, workout gurus, let's go to the gym, let's get pumped up, whatever." I did when Fen came out way back in the day, like that's when the
Yeah.
only time that I really went to the gym when I was 18 and I had lost like 50 pounds taking those things. But it was after like a little while after I was like, I gotta start exercising. Like I exercised here and there as a mom, like to try to get the mom weight off, but I was never really consistent with it. I just wasn't a workout person, but I just feel like walking now is like I just feel like it's got to be a part of my life because if not, what's going to happen? I'm not going to be working out and then I have that chance of going back to that girl. So it's like even if I don't do it every single day, as long as I'm doing it 3 days a week, and then I've been like lifting weights. I have a vibration plate that I just purchased. I got actually a few days back that's supposed to be really good for you. So I'm picking up different things to help me work out. I have an ab twister that I sell on my TikTok shop that has helped me. It's just finding things that are fun for you to do to keep the activity going because you have to stay active. If you're just going to sit on the couch and flip through the channels and watch TV and not be active, how are you gonna keep the weight off? You're not.
Right.
It'll and especially as we get older, you know what I mean? Like it's just something you have to incorporate into your everyday life. You have to have physical activity. That's I mean, it's there's no question about it.
Yeah, it definitely makes you feel better. So you brought walking. Walking was kind of the thing that you got started with, right? Is
Yes,
that where you started? Did
yes.
you just go out for a certain amount of time every day? How did you start going and how did you progress that? Sometimes the hardest workout's the first one. So how were you able to navigate that and get started?
I think just getting up and lacing up your shoes, like just get up and do it. Like it's, I mean, I've struggled with that sometimes too. Some days it's like, oh, I don't want to go. Like you get that like negative, you can't listen to it, that negative banter. You know what I mean? And it's like, nope, you got to just get up, lace up the shoes, and walk out the door. And then once you get out, it's the first couple minutes, and then you're like, oh, I'm so glad I did this. You know what I mean? But
Right.
it's really getting out the door to do that. And I just feel like walking, you're in the fresh air, you're in the sunshine, like it just feels like natural. You're walking and walking really is one of the best ways to lose weight.
Yeah.
Just I just think it's really good and that's I mean most people can go walking. So if you're out there listening, walking is a good one.
Walking, I think walking is a great place to start if it's something that you can do. Um,
Yes.
And then you said you started doing weight training. Was this, how did you get into weight training? And was this to break a plateau, or was this just at a certain point you decided, hey, I want to start lifting weights? How did you go from just walking to also lifting weights?
I actually just I haven't done a ton of it. Like I bought on Facebook Marketplace a whole like weight set for under 200 bucks, like everything, like dumbbells. So
Awesome.
I have all of that and I've created like a little space downstairs in my basement. And lately I've just been doing the stretchy bands because I'm at that point now where I've done all this stuff and it's like we're coming up like 9 years. Like I you just I mean just going through life and stuff like and especially when you struggle with mental health issues, it's not easy to stay on track.
Right.
It's not easy to keep going. So I just think by having that, like I have a gym membership too, but it's hard to just go to the gym, especially when you don't want to work out in front of other people. So that's why I've kind of made my own home gym so that I can just go downstairs and do it. And I've added like just different stuff to it. I just think the ab twister has stretchy bands. So I feel like right now is when I'm starting my actual like I've done it here and there, but like I'm being more consistent than ever right now, so I
Good.
can get down to that 150. So I mean, I'm hoping by my 10 years, by my 47th, birthday, I'm going to be in the best shape of my life because I have that in my head. Like you have to see what you have to have some type of goal that you're working towards and you're until you get there. I mean, you got to keep working towards it even if you take a break or whatever. Like as long as you have that in the back of your head that you're going to continue to do that, you will get there eventually. It's just
Right.
taken me a long time.
And so we kind of talked about exercise. Let's talk about nutrition. How did your nutrition change along the way? Obviously, post surgery, you're doing liquids only, and then you slowly kind of reintroduce real foods. Has your diet stayed pretty constant since then, or has it been progressing since you lost 100 pounds, the 130 pounds?
No, I think that like when I first started, I was drinking two Premier protein shakes every day, like morning, lunch, and then I'd make a sensible meal.
Mhm.
And then I think just from doing that for so long, like it's really hard for me to drink Premier protein drinks because
They kind of
I
burn
did
out
it
after a while.
yeah, I did it for so long that it's just like, but I still do protein shakes occasionally, add some fruit, add some, you know, but I think for me now, what works for me, I feel is just like low carb, high protein because I like meat. I think when you don't know how to eat either, like that poses a problem. Like I think it's good to do your research and figure out what could work best for you. Like maybe this isn't the best for me, but this is the only way I know how to do it, and so that's how I'm doing it. And like now I'm following people on TikTok that are doing like desserts that are low carb, high protein, and it's like I'm doing this. I haven't really seen like a lot of that. That's why I'm saying if it's not working for you, then you got to try something else. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? But as far as low carb, high protein, and then maybe it's not even that. Like maybe it is menopausal, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. You have to figure out why you're not losing. You know
right.
what I mean? Because I've been trying to stay within 1,500 calories, which is a deficit because I'm working out. Like right now, I'm doing 75 hard again.
Yeah,
And so I'm doing a workout outside and a workout inside.
yep,
I'm not sticking to 100%. I'm doing what works for me the best that I can because
yeah,
it's a hard one to stick to.
yeah,
It
yeah.
is. So
As the name implies,
it is
it's
hard.
I've thought about doing
So
it multiple times. Every time I'm like, no, that's not for me. So
it's hard.
you're already
But
doing better than I am just to attempt it.
yeah, no, it's hard, but I just feel like the two workouts like helps me 45 minutes workout outside and a 45-minute cardio workout inside. So I'm trying to stick to that because I really want to get to this 150. Like if I could, the lowest I got was 164. So it's like let's do this. So I was hoping to have it done by summer, and so we'll see what happens. But last time I did 75 hard, I lost 22 pounds. So, and the
Ooh,
water, like a gallon's a lot, but I'm trying to at least do half
drink some
my
water,
body weight. Yeah, so I'm trying to do like 85,
ounces.
85 ounces, 90 ounces.
Yeah. So I think one of the best parts about talking to someone who's been through a journey, you have a lot of wisdom and you've made some mistakes. Looking back, what were some of the biggest mistakes you made that you think like if you could redo it, you would avoid with, nutrition or exercise or any of it?
I think like just believing in myself, like not if you don't have that belief in yourself, when you believe in yourself, you're already halfway there. When you don't have that belief in yourself, it's hard for you to really accomplish anything. So I think starting over, I would definitely believe in myself because if you don't even believe in yourself, who else is going to believe in you? You know what I mean? So I think that's a big one. And then just staying consistent. Like if you just buckle down and you sacrifice, I think sacrificing for even just a short 6 months, like, hey, I'm just gonna do this. Here's my starting photo. I'm gonna work out. Set a plan for yourself, set a goal for yourself, make little habits that you're gonna stick to all the time. And guess what? In 6 months, like 6 months, we all know 6 months goes by just
Real
like
fast.
that. Yes, so if you just set a little plan for yourself, within 6 months, you're where you want to be and you're like feeling excellent, then you can maintain. But just sacrifice for 6 months. Do what you need to do to get you to those goals, whether it's drinking more water, exercising, really buckling down on your food intake, seeing what diet works. I don't call it a diet. I don't think anybody should do a diet. You should do what works best for you as far as food goes, but it's got to be to somewhat healthy so that you're able to lose. Like I think calorie deficit along with weight loss with working out is the best way to lose weight. Honestly, that's
Yeah.
just my experience. I feel
Yeah.
like if you just stick to the goals, set yourself goals first of all, because if you don't have a goal and write it down, what do you have? Like you're not looking at it. You're not like, okay, write it on your mirror. Like somewhere you can see it all the time so that you know, like, okay, I've lost 7 pounds. Like, look, we're going, and then be proud of all of your success to get there. Because when you're proud of yourself, I think it gives you that motivation to keep going, that determination. Like, dude, look, you've already lost 17 pounds. Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go. So yeah, I think that just really keeping the belief in yourself and sticking to it. Like I have a problem with consistency. So when you know you have a problem with stuff, those are the things that you need to work on to grow. And so I'm working on three things this year, and that is mindset, consistency, and time management to fit everything in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you have goals, I just think that it helps you. And I didn't have those before. Like it's just like, oh, let's lose weight. No, you need something. You need some goals. You need something written down so you can say, okay, I got this, this, and this. Oh, I did this today. Check it off. Do it. Like stay on path. Give yourself 6 months and just conquer it. You got this. Believe in yourself and you're already halfway there.
How did you learn how to set goals throughout this project process? Like which ones to
I
pick and how do you identify the things you actually really need to work on and the things that will give you the most gain out of it?
because I know that I suck at some of those things, and it's like
The
when you
world
like
tells you is what you're saying, like the world
well,
points.
I just think even just like taking a valid like depiction of yourself and who you are. Like I think I've done a lot of self-reflection of who I am. And I just think that's how you come up with your goals. Like I know I'm not good with time management. I know I haven't been very consistent in my life. And I think a lot of that stems from my severe ADHD. So it's like when you know there's things that you need to work on because of what it's doing in your life, that gives you your goals right there. Like, okay, I could be better at this if I just worked on this. Like I think that's where my goals came into play is like, dude, you're not very consistent. So that's goal number one. Like what are you doing the worst in your life? What are you struggling with the most in your life? And that needs to be your first goal. Like whatever you're struggling with the very most, like you're not good at walking. Well, cool, put that on the top of your list. There's goal number one. Like I think you just have to break it down as to who you are now so that you can be the better version of yourself later.
That's
Because
great.
if you have goals to work on, like you're going to get there. It might take a little bit of time, but if you continually work on yourself and your goals, you will elevate to the next level. I know because
Really,
I'm doing it,
I
you
really
know?
like it. Yeah, it sounds like you've made a lot of progress on those. Something I always like to bring up when we're talking about goals is one of the things that can be hard when people are losing weight is knowing when to stop. Sometimes you get in that trap of like more is always better. What makes you decide on like the number 150 or what goes into that thought of saying I want to keep going whether rather than staying where you're at?
I really put a lot of thought into this actually, because at first, before, um, like after 75 hard, I took a break, and that was the wrong thing to do because then I was like, oh, and then you get lax, and then you're like, oh, let's eat this. Like it was summertime, and it was like I ended on St. Patrick's Day, and so it's like I'm taking a break. I'm just gonna enjoy life because it's a strict eating habit, strict water, all that. But um, I think just sticking to it. Like I said 140 that I wanted to get to 140. And after like thinking about it, really thinking about it, 140, I never really weighed 140 on my own naturally. So why would I commit myself to such a high degree of a goal? Like I just think like self-reflection again comes into it because like why would I got to 145 taking prescribed medication from a doctor when Fen was here. Like,
Right.
why would I even try to get to 140? So in my mind, it's like I kind of went and looked at like what I should weigh as a 5 foot person, and I think it was like 118 to one. I don't remember the exact thing,
Yeah,
but it's
probably
like
there's
I'm
usually like
gonna
about 50-pound range if you're going off a BMI. So yeah.
yeah. So I'm like I'm gonna be where I feel comfortable. I just think for me, I decided I was at 305. I want to be like half.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if I'm already this person, I want to at least lose half of that. And that would put me like right in that range pretty much because even now I started at a 60 BMI and like I think right now I'm like at 100 or a 32 B or a 33 BMI or 34 BMI.
Yeah.
So it's like I've come down that far, but that's a lot. Like
That is a
you
lot. You should be proud of yourself.
thank you.
Turning your life around from a 60 BMI is that is really that's a lot of weight to have on your frame. That's impressive that you were able to do that.
Well, and just like you get health issues from that. Like I had sleep apnea, I had plantar fasciitis, which I'm dealing with that right now on my right foot. It's like you have to just do things that are going to help you. And if you like your body's only built for so much. If you're, I mean, you know how you feel. Like it, you just have to continually be determined to get the weight off because it's hard. Life throws stuff at you, and it's like you got to get through this and you got to get through that. You just have to stay determined to be able to want to fix it for your life. And if you don't fix it, who's going to? That's what I think has kept me going is you're the only one in control. You're the only one that decides what goes in your mouth. You're the only one that is able to get up off the couch and get active. Like nobody's going to do that for you. Nobody's coming to save you, so you have to save yourself. And that's what it comes down to. Mine is total accountability for yourself. Self accountability. Like it's all up to you.
Yeah, no, I really agree. At the end of the day, you're always the person who has to make the choice or put the work in.
Yep.
You talked about how, your sleep got better. You don't have sleep apnea anymore, and you were most of the negative side effects from your weight gone at this point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like after I lost the weight, I didn't have to wear that thing anymore. Like I just I felt so much better in my life. I think the depression, well, and I think too like alcohol, like that's a depressant. So I think getting rid of that out of my life too. Like I encourage every single person struggling with weight, get it out of your life. That's another thing on 75 hard. You can't have alcohol for 75 days. Like do something that's going to help you get rid of the alcohol, get rid of anything else. I've quit everything. I've quit smoking, I've quit drinking. I have literally changed my entire life around. I
Yeah.
went from 100 proof to living proof. And it's like if I can do this, anyone can do that if they believe in themselves. So you really, it's those issues will go away. Your depression gets better. I'm not saying it takes it away, but exercise alone will help with your depression. Like I just feel like it helps with my mental health so much by getting up and even just 15 minutes gets those endorphins going and you're like, wow, I feel better. And then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you worked out for 15 minutes. Let's go for another 30. You know what I mean? Like it gives you that extra energy that you might need throughout your day to where you're like, if you get it done in the mornings, I feel like when I do it in the mornings, it's way better than waiting and then making excuses and listening to the chirping. And it's like, no, just get up, get it done, and then you have your whole day to do whatever else you need.
Yeah. Was there anything that you wanted to happen that didn't with the weight loss? Like any benefit you were looking for? Or was there anything that didn't turn out as good as you thought it was going to?
I honestly thought that I have a lot of excess skin And I thought like by working out and all of that, that would be like I feel like mine's a lot tighter, and I think that's because I worked out. But I think that's been the hardest. Like it's weight loss surgery. Like even if you lose weight, there's still other side effects. Like I deal with rashes, severe rashes in my belly button and underneath my excess skin. It's hard to work out. Like there's other things that come along with the weight loss, but in overall, it's worth it. Like I'm just saying,
Uh-huh.
but there's things that you still have to deal with. So I don't know. Like it's hard. You just have to keep going and just stick to whatever you can to. But like as far as the sleep apnea, that went away. Like my attitude, like I just feel like being a smaller person in general just makes you feel better as a person. Like, and then just thinking about like, wow, dude, I used to be that big fat girl. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this is who I am now. Like, I think it's getting used to who you are too. Like, you've never been here before. That's what I'm saying. Like, give yourself grace because you've never been this person before. You've never been this sober person before. You've never been this person. You know what I mean? You have to literally give yourself grace for everything that you've gone through and be proud of what you've done because it's hard to accomplish those types of things. So I don't know. I just feel like you have to also be proud of the things that you've accomplished too, because it goes hand in hand with keeping it off and like you got this, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. You said something that I would love to take some time. You said you've never been this person before. I think a lot of times we identify with our weight. If you're a bigger person, sometimes you learn to kind of identify as being a bigger person. How was the process of separating yourself from that? Was that hard? Was that a good thing to no longer feel like you were the big person? How did that feel as you were separating yourself from that identity?
Yes, because it's like when you're heavy and your people are staring at you and like looking at you and making you feel less than a person. No, you're not any less than a person. Your body does not define who you are. But I think just having that success and getting to a smaller version of who you are, you get to shop in smaller stores, you get to look cuter, you feel more vibrant because you don't have that double chin hanging or that like I didn't fly on an airplane until I was 33 years old, and I had to get a seatbelt extension. Like that doesn't make you feel very good as a person. So it's like there's just certain things that like it doesn't define who you are as a person. Your weight does not define you, and that's what you have to really keep in the back of your head is you're still the same beautiful person you are whether you're 150 pounds or 305 pounds.
Right.
What you have to focus on is being the best version of who you are. And that's not just with weight loss, that's with everything in your life. Are you doing this? Are you kind to others? Are you, you know what I mean? Like, I just think that just really focusing on like the person you are now, it's a, it's a different person. You're not the same person that you were. Like you grow exponentially when you lose that amount of weight. You just see life differently because it's like your life could be taken away just like that. Heart attack. I mean, you just see things differently. I just feel like just being a smaller version of myself just helps me want to stay that smaller version of myself because of the benefits I've got from losing all that weight. Like I don't the feet like my feet don't hurt as bad. Like it's just easier to do everyday life because I'm thinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure it's much easier. It sounds like you have, from just your story, sounds like you have a lot of really strong family ties. How did losing weight affect some of your family relationships? Do you feel like it made it easier to be like a mom and a partner, or do you think it made it harder? What was your experience with that?
Um, I kind of feel like I've struggled in this aspect, honestly, because of, and I don't know why, but they say like it's true when you quit drinking, you see who your real friends are. Like I found that to be really true. Like it's just been like I thought like my relationships after getting sober and like I just thought everything would be like, oh my gosh, she quit
Sunshine and
drinking.
rainbows.
Yes, I
Yeah.
really did. Like I had this expectation of my in my mind, like oh my gosh, it's going to be so great. Like, we're going to hang out. I moved to Utah. I used to live in Idaho for 26 years. So I moved closer to my family. And yes, we hang out, but I just felt like I hadn't seen them in years because I lived far away and I was raising my family there and I didn't always have the financial plans to be able to come and hang out all the time. So now being here, like, I just figured it would be a lot more, but then it's like you realize like they have a life too and they have kids too and this and this. And I'm not saying they haven't been supportive. I just thought it would have been
Different.
a greater support system in my sobriety because that's what they wanted all this time and it just doesn't feel that way. And I've actually asked for it, like, do you call and check on me? Do you know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
like that is when people get sober, that is the number one thing I will say for anyone, a support system. And I feel like I've had a great support system through my social media. Even though I don't know these people personally, I just feel like they have given me that, like, you're doing good, girl. Like, they comment,
Yeah.
they uplift you, they like, and it's just like I've talked to other people that are doing the same journey, and it's like my family does the same thing. My like your friends, like they're not your friends. Like if they're not even checking on you or doing anything, how do you consider that friendship? A friendship, a relationship is between two people, and if it's one person constantly trying to get everything going or trying to keep everything going, that's not a relationship. So I think my thing right now is really focusing on my relationships to better the ones that are there for me and forget the other ones. Like maybe in time those will better themselves, but it's been hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like it has been definitely hard becoming this person that I'm becoming. Yes, it's great, but it comes with its challenges too in not having that support factor.
Yeah. I think no matter how much better life gets overall, sometimes there's still heavy days where it seems like the negative parts are louder, right? Maybe you feel lonely or tired. What keeps you going on this journey on the days where you don't want to anymore?
Honestly, my kids are my why. Like I know that I can't go back and change my past and the alcoholism and all of that chaos that you get from drinking and living that type of lifestyle and the partying and all that. I can't change that. I can't go back and fix that. So to me, my most important thing is my kids, my world. Like if I didn't have them, what would I have? Like so I'm focused. I have a 10-year-old little boy. He doesn't have a dad. I have a great boyfriend that stepped into that role. He's amazing with him. He supports me. He's my number one supporter. So I just think like you just have to focus on what you have, like being grateful for life, like really like you your life could change tomorrow. You could not be here. Like I think a lot of people take it for granted. You know what I mean? So I think just being grateful for what you have and really feeling blessed waking up every morning is a blessing. You don't know. I mean, especially what we've put our bodies through with the weight gain, the weight loss, the weight gain, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
an ongoing thing. And then to add in the alcoholism and all the other things, like I've abused my body, but my kids are my biggest, like, why.
sure.
They're my why because if I'm not here, like my child, he doesn't have either parent. So I think that's my biggest why right now is really, and then the supporters that I have on Facebook, like I know I'm helping other people, and that is I found my purpose finally, and it's helping other people like see, like, hey, you have to wake up and you have to take control of your life because nobody is going to do that for you. Nobody is going to make you do that. You can't love anybody enough to do that for themselves, whether it's drinking, weight loss, whatever. They have to come to the conclusion like, only I can do this. Only I can get up and go for that walk. Only I can put this in my mouth. Only, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think just having them as a support system, like that keeps me going on the days that I have hard days. It's like, okay, I'll get on there and cook my healthy dinner and then I'll be able to help somebody there that maybe is having a hard day. I think just being a friend to other people that maybe don't have a friend too helps me. Like I just feel like I found purpose in this whole like journey with sobriety and weight loss and really sharing my experience with others.
I love that. Yeah, I think finding joy and purpose in the rough days and then being that foundation for other people can be a really, really good long-term strategy for consistency.
Yes.
I honestly have enjoyed this a lot. I think that's most of the things I really want to talk about. Is there anything else you'd like to touch on before we wrap up?
No, I just think that you guys, if you just take responsibility for who you are and what you're doing in your life and you want to see something happen for yourself, get up and do it. Write your goals down, write what you want to have accomplished, and set yourself a timeline and just go for it. Be determined, be motivated. Motivation runs out. Like there's days that I don't even want to get up and do it. That's where your determination comes in. I created something that's called DCS. In order to do anything in life, you have to decide whether it's quitting drinking, a shopping addiction, it doesn't matter what it is. You have to first decide. You have to decide, like, hey, this is it. Like, I have to do this.
Yep.
And then you have to commit to it. And if you do those two things, you will succeed. So I just kind of keep that in the back of my head. Decide, commit, succeed. Like you will be successful if you decide that you're going to do it and then you stick to it and work hard at achieving it. You will get there. Might take a little bit of time, especially with the ups and downs of life, but I promise if you just stick to it and you love yourself enough to do it, you will do it. So that's what I would probably say to anyone watching this right now is love yourself, treat yourself good, treat yourself better than anyone else has treated you because you are like if you don't have anyone else, you have yourself forever. So when you're kind and nice to yourself, you're going to get things done. And I just think self-love has a ton to do with it and really just believing in oneself is going to get you to your highest level of who you are. And so that's what I would just say is just love who you are and be proud of everything you've done because it you can turn your life around. It doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. I mean, I have been through some really terrible things and it doesn't matter. I don't use it as an excuse. It's like this is what I've gone through, this is what I'm going to do to get me up there. And you have to just focus and you have to just be proud of the person you are and just work hard and get there and you will do it. You will get that
Great.
success.
I absolutely love that. I don't think I can end on anything better than what you just said, so I'm not even going to try. I think that was perfect. So thank you so much for coming on the show. I absolutely enjoyed this, and I know our listeners will as well, and we'll just end it right there.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate this experience, and I hope that you guys just go out there and be the best version of yourself. Thanks, Mike. I truly appreciate you.